Hey friends, I'm Billy. So this time, what is there to do when it rains? Well, it's about friends. Many people think that when it rains, you shouldn't spray anything because the humidity is high. But for me, it doesn't matter. I spray cars with a spray gun and I've been doing it for less than a year. So if there are any mistakes or slip-ups, I hope you all won't laugh. Let's get started. So many car enthusiasts do a lot of testing when spraying the car shell, but I don't. I hope to get it right the first time. Of course, it requires some practice. Below are the shells we've sprayed over the past year. Some, that didn't turn out well, will be sprayed again. But it seems there aren't really any major mistakes indeed. The most recent one is just now. Yeah, this is the one that was just sprayed. Some people will, draw on the surface of the shell with a marker by hand. So, as for me, sometimes I want things to be more precise or to be able to use it again next time. So I input it into the computer. For example, let me show you. I have some car headlights and some lightning patterns. So at any time, make some modifications. So next time, if I find that some shells are not the right size, or if the patterns have changed, I can make immediate adjustments before proceeding, like with this function. Oh, you see, it's actually very simple. You have it in Word too. But sometimes we don't use Word for these things. You can make changes point by point. So if you want it to be longer, that's possible too. So then it can be very precise. Since it has everything. After I print it out, I just flip it over. Then, on the surface of the shell, I use masking tape to attach it to the shell. This way, I don't even need to draw. I can just cut directly. Okay. Unlike what most people think, that there are a lot of tools. Actually, I don't have many tools, and I won't randomly buy a lot of things. Here are all the things I recently needed for my spray painting. Besides some other things that I won't show you, these are all the tools I have. I will explain each one to you. Since we were working on small models before, I'm quite familiar with spray painting. If you're just starting to use a spray gun, you might consider buying a compressor like this. This whole thing only cost a few $100s. And for me, it's more than enough. I used to use a large pump, but now I've realized I don't need high pressure. I just need low pressure. So these kinds of things from Taobao are quite sufficient. I'm not sure if you can find it on Taobao, but recently my wife did buy something from there, and it only cost a few dollars. But what's the advantage of this? Well, it's that after you turn it on, it can be used for personal relaxation. It's very convenient and not noisy. If you use a big pump, it would disturb the whole family. But if I spray oil like this now, it's very quiet, and no one in the house knows what I'm doing. Since this spray bottle is so useful, I bought another one. It comes with a 3.0, or rather a 0.3 millimeter nozzle. Actually, I don't use these nozzles. I only use the bottom part of it. This part can also have the battery removed. At the same time, you can use one spray gun while charging another battery. How much does this battery cost? For the whole unit, this kind of item, as mentioned, it costs a few $100s, so you might consider using these low pressure brands to spray what you need. Since I used to play with model kits, I have also purchased some good spray brands. This one I found is the best for spraying car shells. It's a 0.18 caliber spray gun, and when you go from 0.1 to 0.2 or below, you'll find it suddenly becomes much more expensive, costing over $1,000. So if you think, wow, that's so expensive, I won't buy it, then you can get a 0.2 caliber one, which is only a few $100s. It should be able to handle everything. It can also be used directly. You just install it on the affordable air pump. Most of the time I use this to spray my shells. Let me show you. This 0.18 can spray lines like this, but you need to be closer. So if this part is too big, it might occasionally obstruct you from spraying the shell. You need to find the right angle. This paper is very useful. Change it from time to time, and you'll see if you can spray it as fine as a hair. If you can, then consider spraying it on the shell. If not, don't spray it on the shell. I also have an even better spray gun for painting models, but if you're using it to spray shells, you might consider not buying these expensive spray guns. In the past, car enthusiasts usually used masking tape to spray the shell, but now it's quite rare. They would like me use some liquid food, so I wouldn't choose to spray it on the shell. If you want to spray this kind of liquid food, it shouldn't be diluted. They say to dilute it with water, but that's quite troublesome. If you don't dilute it, you can't use a fine nozzle. For example, nozzles that are 0 something won't work. You need at least a 1 something mm nozzle to spray it out. Therefore, it requires a high pressure pump, which makes it very inconvenient at home. I would choose to use a manual method. If you frequently visit stationery stores, it can be very beneficial for you. I often buy many things from stationery stores instead of remote control car shops. For example, this item costs $4 back home, and I found it to be extremely useful. You can apply it layer by layer, and I discovered that the best number of layers is around 6. So you can prepare several shells at once. By the time you finish the 4th shell, you can go back to the first shell and it will already be dry. Then you can start the 2nd layer. The working time is short. It's shorter than using an airbrush because when you use the spraying method, you still have to clean everything, which is really troublesome. Some car enthusiasts, well, I might think that not spraying won't give an even coat. However, if you apply a thin layer and then another layer, it can still be very even. When you use the utility knife to cut, you don't need to cut all the way through. Just a slight cut will allow you to peel it off. Now everyone, take a look. I actually find that not spraying epoxidizing is much more convenient. Let me tell you about the oils I use. Here I'm displaying all the types of oils I use. First, there's this one, which is a kind of semi-transparent canister oil. You can commonly find it in model shops. Recently, I've been frequently using these colors, this type of semi-transparent oil, to create a marble effect. This ordinary silver oil is fast 12, which is mainly used for priming. Sometimes, even if you spray white as a base, you should still spray a layer of fast 12 to make it reflective. You'll notice that the reflective effect is different. So this type of oil, a lot of people use it, but it's more expensive, around $60 to $70 per can. So it's nothing particularly special. Recently, I found this one on Taobao for just $30, so you might want to consider it. The quality is also very good. A long time ago, I also had these fast colors, which are probably about 20 years old now and hard to find. But I still occasionally use them. So it turns out that these paints can still be used even after many years, as long as you're careful not to use other things to dilute them. Be cautious when diluting them. This one, for instance, is specifically mentioned as being dilutable. However, once it's opened and left for a long time, it changes from an alcohol-based substance to water. So, some car enthusiasts use it for diluting. But after it's been open for a long time, it turns into water. And then when you try to use it again, why does it turn into one? So everyone, don't regret it, just pay attention. Therefore, some car enthusiasts suggest using regular, hard, high-purity alcohol, 花椒. Actually, that's possible. I use this one to dilute the paint, and this one should be relatively, in terms of quantity, this one is relatively cheap, costing about $50. You can buy water-based paint thinner at a model shop, so everyone can consider using this for all of these. ProLiner, Taobao items, or anything from Fastcard are all available. Recently, this conductive silver has become popular. The effect of this conductive silver is very good, but it seems to have been out of stock lately. I've heard that it will be available again. And since it's so rare, the price has been driven up to $100 a can, so I can only take it out to spray. But if you spray it carelessly, it will run out quickly. But I found that it can be taken out and sprayed without any issues. No? This one, however, is not suitable for spraying, unless you're spraying areas where you don't intend to create shadows. If you only spray that specific area, then you can use this one to spray. However, it creates a spider web effect that flies around after spraying, and you'll need to clean it up. It forms a lot of spider web-like substances on the surface. If you take it out to spray for shading, meaning for shadow effects, it won't work. But you can apply it. Since these oils are relatively hard, you can spray lines. After masking, you can spray again without any issues. I do this with black. I use these small cans. However, this conductive silver is very good and can be taken out to use. I would keep it in these kinds of bottles. Buying these bottles helps you preserve your oils well, or you can use them to mix with thinners. To achieve better results, I personally like to do it yourself some tools and more. In addition to all the masking, this knife has the ability to absorb shock and rotate efficiently, and more. Cutter. This allows you to draw a straight line in one go, even if it's curved. So you might also consider making some things yourself. If you don't want to waste time, these cutters from the 12 County store are the best, because when you buy them, they come with a blade. Online, car enthusiasts say that one shell uses one blade, but I would definitely sharpen it. I'm very frugal in this regard, so I wouldn't spend too much. So why am I telling you to visit more stationary stores? Oh, because many remote control car enthusiasts wouldn't think that stationery is related to playing with remote control cars. You can buy things at stationery stores. That helped me remove the masking from the shell without damaging it. Occasionally, I also use it for some plastic, so it has a lower potential for damage. Additionally, I also bought something similar, which I just purchased yesterday. It can help you rub things off. For example, if I spray some settling and there are areas where the color has pooled lightly, they aren't permanent. You can rub them off, which is what I did yesterday. This also costs $200. Additionally, I also bought some similar items which I believe can help me cover certain areas, so that only a line is sprayed out. If your equipment isn't that fine, you might consider using masking techniques to spray fine lines. Many stationery stores have them. They aren't hard to find. So you can also see what other stationery I have. These are essential for drawing lines on the surface and for cutting. These are called oil-based markers. Then there are some pens that are used to fill in gaps. Sometimes if some paint chips off and you want to quickly fix it, you can use these model pens. These two are not for drawing. They are used for cleaning brushes, specifically air brushes. You can buy them at a stationery store, so you need something with a fine, non-shedding and long bristle to insert for cleaning. 3G is also like that. So my wife's cotton swabs and the breadsticks from the model shop, you might need them sometimes for a bit of touch-up work. Using masking tape doesn't mean you don't need these crepe tapes. You need to pay attention to the quality. Some crepe tapes leave residue after being removed, so be careful. Like this one, it leaves a bit of residue. So I would stick it on my skin first before applying it, and then there won't be any residue. I found it usable this way. Of course, you can trust the brand Twin Star. I'm so lazy that I don't even use a funnel. I just pour it directly into a tray, mix it, and then use a brush to roll it and pour it into the spray. You can consider using these trays as they can be washed and reused indefinitely. In the kitchen, these small plastic bags are very useful for turning royal blue to green. When it comes to the entire pen and spray pen, of course, you need to remove the O-ring and put everything else in to shake it. This way you can use the pen quickly. Remote control car shops should have stencils for sale that can help you make those engine wire meshes. But if you think, wow, it seems expensive, a few dollars for a piece of that, you can consider it. Using some mesh as a substitute. It has a way to stretch and become slanted, so you don't really feel like it's a protective mesh, right? Besides buying, you can also consider going to a stationery store to buy something similar like a stencil, which is called a stencil in English and a burning word board in Chinese. You can ask them also to choose a style, but from what I've seen, the styles are usually very girly, and it's hard to find flames or those kinds of designs, which is a bit frustrating. The only option is to DIY. You can make something like this yourself, and when we spray it, it turns into flame designs. I also have objects like these, which can be used for different sizes to spray on the headlights. When using these stencils, there are actually some techniques involved. It's not just about placing them on. You might consider using small magnets to hold certain parts, and after spraying, you can move the magnets to spray the areas they were covering. This is a good method to use. So, under the concept of waste utilization, I can borrow from my son, and you can borrow from your children. Those blue tech things. Blue tech is the best and fastest method to cover certain areas, and then spray the other areas you need. Of course, when using this thing, you can't not use it. Correctly shape it into the appropriate form. These kinds of crafts can be learned in pottery classes. They become skilled and people cut and shape them. Some girls might be very talented, so you might consider learning from them. Well, to be honest, I keep buying more and more. This box contains everything I have. Occasionally I buy some extra or different things. I can't lie to you. About this, can I? Well, I only thought of filming this after considering it. During the learning period, I couldn't film anything. Next time I might have more tips to share with everyone, and there will be more action. This time it's just a surface look. Do you have any good suggestions? I hope you can leave a comment and let me know. I've only been learning for 11 months, so what do you think? If there are any shortcomings, please don't laugh. I thank you all.